Good morning everyone and welcome to our regular scheduled programming, aka pet pairing video of the week. Even if I wasn't planning on doing one, we would have to do an emergency one because we need to talk about that Bridgerton business. Applying my Auric Glow Lust, just in case you were wondering because I didn't show it. So, Pat McGrath collaborating with the Netflix TV show Bridgerton. I saw that one coming from like a mile away, because why wouldn't you? No, I did not. I don't think anyone did. I mean, no one really knows what happens in the magical grounds that are Dame Mother's brain. Maybe she's a huge fan of the show and we just all didn't know about it and now we're getting caught up on it. But apparently it's happening. The collection is releasing the second day of Christmas, December 26th. It features quite a few products, and as usual, Trendmood managed to leak the release before the brand actually announced it. So I saw it coming by on Pat's Facebook group. I did not actually see it on Trendmood. I just saw it on Pat's Instagram group because someone had taken a screenshot, since Trendmood had already taken down the post by the time I managed to go and take a look. And well, the person had to also take down the post in the Pat McGrath Labs group because the mods were like, dude, you can't announce something before the brand has. I understand that, whatever. So Pat's been teasing for the last couple of days that, you know, something's coming, and I already saw... Why do I have an eyelash on my face? And I already saw a couple of days ago that she started posting images which said inspiration. And usually when she starts to post images which say inspiration, they will soon be followed by images which say coming soon. And I was like, okay, she usually does release something around New Year. She's done like releases for Chinese New Year. Last year she also did a Valentine's Day release. So I thought, if she's releasing something now before New Year, then we're probably talking. And also based on another image, like a little video inspiration that she posted, it seemed like she was going to release lip products, taking the Estee Lauder Double Wear Water Nude Fresh Foundation. It seemed like she was going to be releasing lip products, and the day before yesterday she had one of those like classic Pat videos where she showed someone, you know, unveiling from underneath the sequins something with like very like pale silvery bluish hues to it, and it looked like a relatively big box, and I was a bit confused because I thought this doesn't really look like a lipstick release, but maybe it's some sort of a lip kit with a lot of like glittery things inside, or like a lip liner, a lip gloss, a lipstick and a lip pencil, you know, to create like Mother's signature New Year's Eve lip look or something. But not for a second did I expect a full collection, and least of all did I see coming a collaboration between Pat McGrath and Bridgerton. Before we proceed with rambling about the collection though, I wanted to show you something else new that I recently got, and I'm going to use it with my little Hourglass Moonlight powder here. Now I see a little problem that like the powder is left here on the four edges and the rest has been used up because I've been a good girl and I've really been able to pan this the last few days. But now I'm having a really hard time getting the product out, and I feel like it's not equally distributing on my brush because of the positioning. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to manhandle it, and I'm going to get my little scooper tool here that I have from Little Cosmetics, and I'm basically going to do this kind of business. I'm going to get that powder from around the corners, and I'm going to use it a bit more as like a loose powder and see whether that works. And if it doesn't, I'm just going to toss it because I have used like 95% of it up. So even if I would have to toss it, I would not be too mad about it. Okay, so I usually used to apply in the past my... Sorry, they're collecting leaves right in front of my window. In the past, you've seen me use these two brushes to apply my sorry, my powder, and both of these are super cheap. This one was like I don't know, 2 euros. This one was 5 euros. I think they're both synthetic, they're both super soft, and I was never able to find anything that works better, even in the higher end range. Everything in terms of like shape or density of the bristles did not seem like it would be appropriate. Some years ago I bought this brush by M-Brush by Maxineshka, which are also Japanese made brushes, by the way, and I thought I would use it for this purpose, but it's not suited for that purpose. It's too dense, it picks up too much product, it does not have like the softness and give that you need to apply powder in a more diffused manner. So I repurposed it to use it for bronzer and blush, and I actually really love it that way. You've seen me use this brush a lot. And a few days ago, I had been thinking about this for a really long time, but a few days ago I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to go on Beautylish and get myself the Smooth Buffer from Sonia G. This originally comes from her Sky set, and I've heard so many people rave about this brush being such a wonderful tool to apply like your finishing powder or to like buff all the powders on your face. And I thought, you know what, maybe it's time for me to get a more, you know, evolved, more elevated, more sophisticated version of the two powder brushes that I have had. And I'm going to now apply the powder on my face using this brush. I'm going to do a bit of this because obviously I crumbled the powder, so now it's all over the place and it's a bit too much. But what I really like about this brush is it looks very dense, but once you start working it on your face, you really feel the tips of those bristles doing the job without really packing on too much product, and you're able to apply the powder in such a elegant, you know, like finishing powder sort of way, and I really love that. So I'm really happy with my purchase, which brings me to like a small comment I wanted to make. As you guys know, Sonia G brushes are only available through Beautylish. A couple of months ago I ordered from Beautylish. Actually it was again Sonia G brushes when the classic base was finally released, and at the time we just had that switch in the EU from July 1st when you have to pay VAT and import taxes on everything. There is no like lower limit anymore, and they had like completely changed everything. For some countries they wouldn't even like prepay the customs anymore. The shipping was like $20 all of a sudden, super expensive. It was just like, I was pretty much done with Beautylish at the time. But then I went on to check for the Smooth Buffer brush, and I found out that they have once again changed everything. To the Netherlands at least, they still prepay customs. You do get free shipping above $35, and if you want to order expedited shipping, it's like $5. What? That's like €3.50. And I was like, yeah, sure, I would rather get my brush within 3 days than, you know, at the end of the year, which is in like 2.5 weeks. So I ordered the brush in the weekend, and it arrived already like 2 days ago or something. It was like super fucking quick. So that was just a little side note that I wanted to make about Beautylish for those of you who shop from them from the Netherlands or from Europe. You have to check the website again because they've changed the rules. Another product that I'm desperately trying to pan in order to get out of my collection is the Butter Bronzer from Physicians Formula. I do really like it, but it's like super fucking old, and I want to make place for new stuff. So, you know, a declutter is coming on my side as well, but we shall make it happen at some point when I have a bit more time. I'm still working this week, next week, and the week after I'm going to be working from home, so it will be a bit more easy to film content. Anyway, let's go back to talking about that Bridgerton release. So Bridgerton, let's first talk about the TV show. Did you guys see the TV show? I'm pretty sure after the TV show was released, I actually talked about it with you because I watched it and then I mentioned how I felt about it. And I still stick to my original opinion. The show is okay, it's entertaining to watch. And if you want a recap of what the show feels like if you haven't seen it, I like to describe it as Jane Austen, but make it soft porn. Jane Austen was a completely different ballgame. Bridgerton is not at that level, okay? Bridgerton is mostly just like the Jane Austen love drama, but without the more like socially relevant threads running through it. The only like thing that I would mention about it that I found was really cool is that their cast is very diverse. So it's not like, oh, we're making a period drama about like Victorian times, so we're only going to cast white people. No, one of the main characters is a person of color, and he's stunning. He is what your wet dreams are made of. Anyway, so the Bridgerton collection features a couple of pieces. So since we're talking about blush, I'm going to apply my Pat McGrath blush now in the shade Flirtatious. The collection features another trio of 2 blushes and a highlighter, and if I'm not mistaken, based on the names of the 2 blushes, I think they are blushes that are already in her collection. I think Cherish and Nymphette. Nymphette doesn't actually sound familiar to me. Cherish maybe does, but the other one, I don't know. And the highlighter was definitely a new shade. I don't recall seeing that in her other blush trios. Yeah, so if I take a look at the colors of the 2 blushes, they are both on like the more like pink leaning side, which in my mind makes sense in terms of the time that, you know, the show is set in. By the way, just very quickly about the packaging and the whole like inspiration and how well the collection fits with the inspiration. I think that we can be mad all we want about the repetitive things in that collection, but it does actually draw very much inspiration from the show itself. So the outside packaging of the collection looks really beautiful. It has that like pale silvery color that I remember the main protagonist wearing a lot of dresses in those shades. So also the blushes I feel like fit very well with the inspiration behind it, because I don't think women used terracotta peach blushes in Victorian times. I think they would use, you know, stuff that basically made them look like they had pinched cheeks. So all of those products probably were like pink or red based. The collection also features 2 new additions to this line of highlighters. So this is Lunar Nude. This is the highlighter that she released for the current holidays, which is again in that beautiful baked gelée formula. This one reminds me very much of one of her VR shades. We've talked about this before, and I personally really like the formula on this highlighter. It has a bit of like glitter specks to it, but I cannot detect them on the skin. It works beautifully on the skin. It just melts with the skin and it looks absolutely beautiful and beaming, and I don't detect any glitter once you apply it on the skin. So the Bridgerton collection also comes with 2 highlighters. One of them seems to be like a pale silvery bluish kind of shade, and the other one is a straight up like gold. So that one is definitely not going to fit with people of a lighter skin tone, or if people of a lighter skin tone do insist on buying it, it will be mostly used as an eyeshadow. But I can vouch for the formula of this being absolutely beautiful. So if you didn't pick this one up and you think one of the other 2 shades in that collection fits you better, I would say go for it, because the formula is fabulous. By the way, so far I'm not picking up any of those items. I'm not picking up the blush trio because I don't gravitate much towards excuse me, pink blushes. I much prefer my blushes to lean more on the terracotta, brownie, nudie, peachy, orangey shade of the spectrum. I'm also not picking up the highlighters because I already have Lunar Nude. I don't like silvery pale blue, and I don't think I can rock a bright gold highlighter. That bright gold highlighter actually reminds me of one of the Fenty highlighters that were released a while back that people went bonkers for. So here you have the highlighter. It looks very smooth on the skin, and like I said, even though you can see glitter in it, I cannot really detect the glitter when I look at my face like this. Maybe if you stand in artificial lighting you will catch specks of glitter here and there, but overall I feel like for such a impactful formula it actually looks very natural and very beautiful on the skin, very seamless. Now let's jump into the eyeshadow look. Today I am pairing 2 of my, I think, least featured palettes in this whole series, the Divine Rose 1 and the Subliminal palettes. Also 2 of my least favorite palettes, least favorite in the sense that they are not in my like top 3 or top 5, but I still love them because I love all of my Mothership palettes. To start off with, I'm going to take the Divine Rose 1 palette and I'm going to go into this shade, I think that's Velouria. So now let's talk about the 6-pan. There is a 6-pan eyeshadow palette that also comes with that collection, which again, I know a lot of us are disappointed that it features 2 more like burgundy hot pink types of shades. However, outside of our frustration with the repetition of colors, I must say the colors in the eyeshadow palette do really fit the two protagonists very well, because if I'm not mistaken, the two main characters, whose names I don't remember by the way, and I'm too lazy to be bothered to check, but I think he wore a lot of clothing which had that more like burgundy pinky vibe to it, and I remember her, like I said, wearing a lot of dresses with like a pale silvery color to them. So I do think that she drew inspiration from the two main characters. So in that sense, I think the palette makes a lot of sense if you put it in that context. There is one eyeshadow, one sparkly, like light blue, purpley, greeny eyeshadow from what it looks like if you look at the images so far. And that shade looks very interesting. Then there are, I want to say like 3 mattes. There is like this like more brownish matte, and there is the 2 like pinky burgundy shades. There is also like a satiny mauve purple shade, and of course the standard like pinky champagne that she puts in every palette. And this is the piece in the collection that I am the most unsure about. So this is the last piece in the collection. I haven't seen any lip products yet, but if I were to get something, it would probably be the eyeshadow palette. Now, like I said, I am not like super crazy about the show, so it's not like I would be getting this because of Bridgerton. I would be getting this because it's Pat McGrath. I am a little bit worried that this is going to maybe sell out super quickly, because people who are huge fans of the show, just like what happened with Star Wars, are going to come and snag the makeup for collector purposes and not because they care about Pat McGrath makeup. But who knows? I'm not sure how this is going to go. I'm definitely not going to stalk the website and be mad if things sell out and I can't get them. But I think there's a high chance that in 2 weeks my Pat McGrath itches are going to be reaching levels that are, again, making it very hard for me to resist to buy a new eyeshadow palette from her. So I might get the palette. Now I would like to deepen my outer corners a little bit before I proceed with the rest of the makeup, and I'm going to take the Subliminal palette this time and go into this very deep, like sort of taupe brown shade to apply in my outer corners. So I'm wondering what you guys think about this release. Are you picking up anything? Are you fans of Bridgerton? Are you going to pick up something because you're fans of the show? Or are you picking up something because you're a fan of Pat? Or are you picking up something because you're a fan? I think it's cute. I think it's unexpected. I'm not mad at it. Is it for me? I don't know. Maybe. But I don't want to be mad about the color story or, you know, the repetition of pinks, because I think that given the inspiration source, she has stuck to the inspiration source pretty well, so I can't be mad at her for doing that. She can't release, you know, a palette of greens and taupes, which is what I want from her, based on a collaboration with Bridgerton, because those are just not the tones of Bridgerton. So on this eye, everything went well, but on this eye, I'm having this light little stripe here that I can't really fix. So you know what, we're going to have to live with life being imperfect. Sorry, I'm not going to fix it anymore because I just can't be bothered. Now I want to do a little bit of swatching because I want to decide what I want to do. So on my lid I'm definitely going to apply this shade, which I don't know whether you can see the little dent that it has. I actually really like this shade and I use it a lot, especially in the winter. I am going to give it a little bit of a swatch here, then go into my Subliminal palette, and I want to either put this shade or this shade over top of the shade from Divine Rose 1, but I can't decide which one of the two I prefer, so we're going to try both options. So on top I'm going to put the Astral shade with the blue sheen, and underneath I'm going to put the VR shade. Which one do I prefer? Oh, I feel like I like the one with the VR shade a little bit more, and I can always like mix the two together. But before we do any sort of layering, I'm going to grab my Pixie Epoxy glitter glue. Now, for those of you who watched my Black Friday haul and you saw that I bought the NYX glitter glue in order to substitute this one, because this one is on its last legs. I have a little update for you. I've been wearing the NYX glitter glue for the past couple of days, and I can happily report that I do not detect any difference in the way the eyeshadows apply or how they wear throughout the day when I compare to Pixie Epoxy. So I will be permanently switching to the NYX glitter glue, because as a European, for me it's just much easier and much cheaper to get glitter glue from a local brand than having to order it from the US. So there's that. I'm now going to take a flat shader brush and go into the shade from the Divine Rose I palette. You know, I usually apply my eyeshadows, my lid shades with my fingers, but I've been going through a phase now where I think I have all of these flat shader brushes. I should probably use them. So I'm going to apply this shade right here all over the lid, taking it slightly into the inner portion of my lids, but not too much because I want to put something else there. This is such an interesting shade. It's like a taupe pink champagne brown. It's so interesting. In the inner portion of my lid and inner corner, I'm going to take the this shade from the Divine Rose I palette, which was originally in her trio highlighter kit. And then we're going to do a bit of layering of fun things. This, by the way, is my, like, sans the layering with the Subliminal palette. If I were to just use the Divine Rose I palette, this look would be my go-to, like, winter look with the Divine Rose I palette. I do this look a lot, especially in the winter months. I never feel compelled to wear this in the summer, but as soon as it gets darker and I get into this, like, more gray, muted tones of clothing, I immediately bust this palette out and do this look. And if I were to complete it in the usual way, I would just put the Astral from the Divine Rose I palette. But of course now we're not going to do that. We're going to take the Subliminal palette, and I'm first going to take the VR shade, and I'm going to apply that all over the lid. Ooh, pretty. Oh wow. And I've decided that I'm going to also use the Astral, and I'm going to apply the Astral both over top of the VR, but like super lightly, and then I'm going to take my little brush and apply the Astral over top of the other special shade from Divine Rose I to see what happens when you do the pink and the blue together. Ooh, you get this like very frosty Elsa type of shade. Ooh, I like this. Oh, that would be so cool to put on the lids. Like, what I put in my inner corners, but then all over the lid would like look beautiful for like a Snow White Frozen inspired look or something. I'm going to clean off my brush, my little shader brush. And then I'm going to go back into the Divine Rose I palette, take the shade Velouria and apply that on my lower lash line. Basically I'm going to repeat a little bit what I did on my crease and outer corner. And then I'm going to go back into the Subliminal palette and take again this deep brown shade, but I'm going to be more precise with that and try to apply it right here in the very outer corner, sticking very closely to the lashes. If you were wondering why you didn't see any cats in the background, it's not because neither of them is here. Mona is sleeping right there in between those little pillows. My little cow, she follows me like my personal entourage everywhere. She's so sweet. And I think Lisa is just sleeping downstairs with my husband. He's working from the living room. So this is the final look. I hope you enjoyed it. I kept it very cool toned for my lips as well. I'm wearing the Hideaway lipstick from Urban Decay, which is like a very cool toned, like mauve pink. And of course, I haven't actually worn this in a really long time, and I haven't worn my lip glosses in a really long time. For whatever reason, I was not in lip gloss mode recently, but I busted out one of my Lost glosses from Pat McGrath. This one is in the shade Lavendering, because I think it just fits the look and completes it to perfection. So that is going to be all from me today. Do let me know what you think about the Bridgerton collection. Are you picking up anything? Are you picking up nothing? Are you picking up the whole thing? What do we feel collectively as like Pat stan? And I hate the word stan, but I think this applies to us here. What do we as Pat Stan think about this collection? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!